Had to be, man. Hey, Bern, how you doing, man?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming over. Hey everyone, Chris here for Thomann Guitars and Basses, and the absolute honor of having Bernth here on the channel. We have some big news.
Yes.
Multiple personal life and six-string life.
Oh yeah.
Where do you want to start? How are you doing, man?
Well, I think the obvious thing is that we have a pretty cool instrument in our hands right now, and I think you're the first one to actually see it.
Yay!
And it's been a 2-year project, and
wow,
I'm super
2
excited
years. Okay.
yeah, to show it to you, because it's not just like another Ibanez guitar with a different color scheme. We actually put a lot of thought into this, and I'm looking forward to you exploring. Like,
absolutely. The first thing I noticed when we unboxed the guitars, it was like, oh, reversed shark tooth things. I love those. Which were the key features that you wanted to say, hey, let's make this in a different way compared to like an AZ, which this is based off of, I guess, right?
So I played the AZ 2402. I hope that's the correct number. I played that one for around 6 to 7 years, and I was really happy with that instrument because I came from RGs and from pretty thin necks, because I grew up with the kind of myth that the thinner the neck, the faster and the more technical you can play, until I discovered it's not true, at least for me, that I need something that's not super thick, but just a little bit better to support the fingers. So I fell in love with the AC shape, but one of the things that held me back a little bit personally was that the knobs are pretty much like with most kind of super stretch shapes. The knobs are very close to the pickups.
Yeah.
Right here, which is fine if you're just playing chords. You won't really notice it that much. But as soon as you start to follow the strings a little bit with any kind of sweep picking arpeggio or anything really that takes place on the higher strings, my fingers started bumping into the switches all the time. And that wasn't just the case with this AC, also with the RG guitars I played before that. So this is kind of the game changer for me, that it's a guitar that has the perfect neck profile, but also the really cool detail of freedom of motion with the picking hand.
I can see it on the pick guard already. That's your personal guitar, right? This is a brand new one. We wanted one without the scratches, but that's the actual thing. This is what you use, and you can tell where the matte section is on the pick guard.
Yes, exactly. So especially for those kind of techniques that I personally like to use, I tend to follow the strings with my picking hand. Some players have the palm kind of anchored on the bridge like this and perform kind of an arching movement. But with me, I found that as soon as I follow the strings like this, I really need to clear that space right here in order to get the best range of motion out of my picking. And yeah, that's been a first kind of game changer. And the other one is the neck. It's like an oval C profile.
So this doesn't feel exactly like the AZ neck profile. You changed it, right?
It's a little bit different, I would say, a different feel, because it's. I didn't just make this guitar with me in mind, actually, also with my community, and it's very kind of difficult because everyone has different preferences. So we didn't want to go too thick or too thin, and I feel like we found a really great way of finding a profile that actively supports the fretting hand fingers nicely from behind the neck. Because when it's too thin, you tend to apply a bit too much pressure.
Because you need to stretch your fingers more.
Yes, and if it's too thick, it kind of gets awkward a little bit with the stretching like this. So that's a neck that works really well for me when it comes to getting the most range of motion out of my fingers. Because I tend to place my thumb behind my middle finger, like that.
Gotcha.
So that I get the most amount of movement out of my fingers like this. Of course, when you go into like string bending, I also have the thumb over the neck approach.
Yeah, but with the shape, it totally supports it because it's nice and round here. It doesn't feel very thin where it's like awkward to put your thumb up.
That's
nice. Yeah. Okay, I totally understand what you are saying. Nice.
Cool. And for the pickups, which is also very, very cool, we got some custom pickups for this guitar. So those are not on the market at all yet, maybe someday in the future, but for now they're only available with this guitar. And we designed them together with Fishman because I found myself, I was kind of always switching guitars all the time for different things. So I had my, I think it was an RGD that had active pickups in there for anything that required a classic metal kind of sound. But then as soon as I wanted something more in the modern mathwork direction, where you, for example, have a slightly crunchy sound like this, some tapping on top, I would switch to the AC because it sounded a little bit more modern. And I wanted a guitar that I can do everything with, because it's very annoying to
be forced to change. Yeah.
Yes, I did a rig rundown with Thomann actually at the last tour, where I brought, I don't know how many guitars, too many guitars, because every song feels like you need a different guitar for that. So with this one, I can get both the really cool modern mathwork kind of sounds, where I do a lot of tapping harmonics for, and the metal stuff as well. So this is as distorted as it gets for me. I always liked the Fishman pickups because you can still get a lot of transparency out of them. Because when I play palm muted stuff, it's kind of important for me to still hear the note spacing, and so that it doesn't turn into kind of a washed wall of sound kind of thing. And I already saw you play around a little bit with the voice switch as well. So that's also exciting for me to not just have the 5-way switch, which is already a lot of possibilities for different sounds, but also to get kind of a single coil character out of some of the voicings, where I would have traditionally used a guitar with single coils. And it's just nice to not have to switch between different instruments that much anymore. To also get that kind of sound, kind of spanky tone out of a guitar with humbuckers in there. So that's been the most fun since I have this guitar, whenever I have to record something, to go through all the options that you have before you even hit an amp or a plugin. That's and
how hard was it to not use this guitar on the tour?
It was.
It's like, imagine like the last 2 years, like, I really want to use it finally.
I really did want to use it quite frequently for a lot of stuff, but this guitar, so the prototype that I got, I only got a couple of months ago, I think. So I always got like one guitar that's similar, that had the pickups built in already. So I was like, this is close, but it's not the real thing yet. So it's been tough, but I think it's also been worth the wait, because we went through multiple ideas and iterations concerning the color scheme. I mean, obviously the playability and the sound is the most important, but I also wanted it to look kind of cool. That's why we decided to go with the black flat, similar to the AC that I was playing before that, so that you don't always see the fingerprints, but still have a kind of a gloss black contrast. I think you don't see that often. It's either gloss or
absolutely
flat. It's kind of cool to have both of that.
Plus the color highlight with the popping white pickup covers, which is like
black and white is kind of my theme.
No, well, really? I wouldn't be able to tell.
So
love it.
It was also cool to put it into the guitar as well. But the reason why it took 2 years is because I wasn't really familiar with the whole process of designing and making a guitar, and it's not that easy. As I at least imagine it, because once again, the philosophy with Ibanez is that they don't want to put out a guitar they already have in a different color scheme and then call it a signature guitar.
You need to have some actual personal thought going into it.
So that was cool for me to hear coming from Ibanez, because I feel like I didn't really hear any kind of interview of a signature artist going through the process, so I didn't really know what I could expect, or how that whole thing would work in the end. But there's a reason why it takes some time, and I actually prefer to work for a couple of years on something than just, hey, this is your signature guitar.
Exactly.
You didn't even, you're like, okay.
well,
at
I wasn't even sure about the color, but now it's
Yeah.
done. Okay, well, in 2 years' time, you can actually make sure that you know exactly what spec and
Yes.
why, and do you want to go back to like a first iteration or stick to the newest, whichever tuners or whatever details. Talking about details, this looks like a roasted neck, which
Yes.
is something we know from the AZs anyways.
Yes.
Ebony? Looks like ebony.
Yeah,
I
we
think-
do have the spec sheet.
And I think alder. I think I read alder. If it's not alder,
Alder, yes,
Danielle
yes, the
scream. No,
body,
I've
yes.
seen a thumbs up. It's alder.
For sure.
For those who want to know. And that looks very familiar. The tremolo, you didn't spec it differently.
For sure. For me, that was a pretty cool solution because I don't do massive dive bombs all the time, but I do like to use my whammy a little bit, especially for chord. For voicings like this, I really like to use my whammy, and I remember growing up with Floyd Roses, like Floyd Rose tremolos, and they do their job, and it's of course great system, but going through different tunings or just restringing with different locking mechanisms, and also with the fine tuners sometimes getting in the way with picking, was not that fun for me at a certain point. So I found that this system works best for me personally because I can still have a guitar with some expression coming from a whammy bar, but I don't have to go through hell whenever I want to change a tuning. Or
Exactly. Yeah.
I need to, like on tour, I do like to restring after every second show because I'm very paranoid. Not that I have to, but I'm sure you know the feeling of, I didn't change for a week. I hope nothing bad happens tonight. And then,
2 shows a weekend, 2 sets of strings.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's what it is. No, but I really like the mixture of like it immediately makes me want to play Steve Vai-esque, Jeff Beck-esque stuff with the trem. Cool. Super smooth. But also it doesn't feel like it's just made for that. Like I can totally see you chugging the hell out of it, but also like playing crazy, beautiful, jazzy prog chords and everything. So
Yeah,
it's a really good mixture in my eyes.
That was actually what drew me to the AC guitar in the first place. Of course, the shape is very traditional for any kind of guitar player that's into shredding. The Super Strat is kind of the shape for that, but also because it's an instrument that I can take to the pop stuff I do here and there. You don't have to feel bad about showing up with this guitar to a kind of a pop gig or something. It's not a flying V or anything like that. But it also works for modern metal or for math rock and all that, not just because of the looks, but also because of the sounds that you can get out of it. So I always wanted, has always been my dream, not just the signature guitar thing, but just having a guitar that I can use for everything, because I do a lot of stuff and it's very different. And it's always been annoying to constantly switch just for one song recording it at home, and you switch guitars 4 times because you know in your head, this guitar does that sound, that guitar does this sound, and it's cool to finally have all of that coming together.
You just moved to LA, right?
Yes.
Or California, LA?
Yes, LA.
LA.
Yeah.
Okay. I've seen that video when you announced that you are moving, and I'm like, okay, wow, cool. And I was looking for an update. I haven't found it yet. Maybe I'm just dumb. And
No, definitely not. That's my fault because I've been kind of on the road nonstop since then. I did a lot of stuff. I had a European tour together with Charles BER10 and Ola England, where we made a Rick Rundown video that led into...
What an awesome tour.
That was pretty cool. And then I did an arena tour with this kind of Austrian pop band that I play for. Then I got to do Carnegie Hall together with Charles, which was pretty great.
Wow, yeah. That's great.
Play there with strings. So after this, I go to China for 2 weeks. So it's kind of been non-stop since then. And for me, the reason why I moved is because I always liked it in Austria. Of course, that's where I grew up. But looking at my channel demographics alone, I think like 0.6 or 7% of my viewers are from Austria. And The majority of my audience is in the United States.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I also got a little bit lonely when it comes to making music and videos because there's no one to collaborate with. I mean, it's a very small country. Just 1.5 years back, I went to LA just because I wanted to check it out. And I just posted one story on Instagram and I got, I don't know how many replies of people, oh, you're in town, let's do something, let's meet, let's do this.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I ended up like Adam Jones, the guitar player of Tool, invited me to his house. Nice. And we talked for, he said, it's a shame that you came today because Kirk Hammett was here yesterday and we could have maybe done something. And it just immediately felt
Thanks.
like...
Now I feel bad.
It kind of felt like you're transported into a new kind of world that you could only dream about as a kid. And it's been like that since then. There's been so many exciting collaborations. For me, I got to work on a Netflix soundtrack for Cobra Kai for the last season.
You know what? I watched the show. I love the show. And I didn't know it was you. And then I've seen the video. I'm like, come on. Nice. That's awesome.
So that was really cool. And also different collaborations with Mike Dawes, for example, who's coming to Guitar Summit tomorrow as well. And just still feels like a lot of not only guitar players, but musicians and creative people in general are still over there. It's been a great time for me so far. But I couldn't really post any update because I haven't been at home that much. So maybe
I love being there. I wasn't really there for very long, to be honest.
Just always for a week and then I'm off again to.
I mean that's kind of musician life, anyways. It's
for me that was always important because I love making videos. It's been a huge passion of mine for a long time. That's why I started a YouTube channel. But I couldn't imagine just doing that. So I need this kind of balance of a couple of weeks on tour, and then you're like, I'm only playing shows. I want to be more creative. Then you're at home for a week. I can make some videos. I'm only making videos. I want to go on tour. Then you're on tour again. So it's been a really cool, healthy balance, I think.
Yeah, I think so. And also, it's so interesting whenever I hear people talking like, oh yeah, being musicians, it's just so cool. You do whatever you want. I'm like,
is it?
Yeah, you love it, but you don't always do whatever you want. Like when you're on tour, you have your set list and you play that every single night, pretty much. Maybe change one song or something, but it's like you will repeat yourself quite a bit. And then if you want to get creative, as you said, that was like a light bulb in my head right now. Like then you go home and you I don't know, write new songs for a video, or just talk about a subject that you're excited about in a video, or you just write songs and don't film it. Like that's where you get creative, and that's that mixture that you put out so well. It's really cool. I'm looking forward to hearing about updates whenever you feel like, okay, now I'm settled in. I had some time to digest everything and put it all in a video.
I would be very, very happy to see people pick up this guitar, of course, because once again, it's not really. It wasn't a pure ego project for me. Like, I want this guitar for me and my perfect settings. I did have my community in mind a lot when it comes to this, because I have a lot of players on Patreon, for example, that are always like, I can't really stretch with my fingers, or I can't get that kind of tone I always hear on the internet. And just to develop something that's a little bit more accessible than everything that I've ever played, because I always had this issue with the knobs and also with never really finding the right neck profile for me. So I really hope that this instrument fixes some frustrations and problems for people, which is what makes me the most excited about this project in general. And
that's great.
I also want to say thank you, of course.
No, of course. So nice to have you here around. And finally, it's been years. And let us know in the comments if you have any questions about the guitars. We'll try to answer them. If not, we know people who know everything about these guitars, and we might be able to ask them. So take it easy, of course, and thanks for watching.